So with that being done, I'm just going to go into 83 levels and then go into the main level, sorry. Then open it up. So first thing you see is, okay, where is everything? And it says here, no loaded regions. So this works with word partition. And I think it's the best way to work now instead of doing level streaming. This because we can load and unload stuff as we go along, and we can do all the stuff with the layers. It feels more like working on Photoshop, to be honest, to some way, just working with the layers, and I think it's quite interesting and quite next gen. So if I go here and I'll go into Windows, then Word Partition, and then I'm just gonna click on Open the Word Partition Editor. You will see it here. I usually like to have it at the top. And also I'm just going to go into Window and then bring the data layer outliner. And this is gonna sit in here. That's where I like it to be. So you can see here, there's no loaded regions. I can just select this. I think this is the post-process volume. And then click in this focus selection. Now if I zoom out with the scroll wheel, and now I just activated my sort of presentation tool, just so you know which keys I'm pressing, so it's easy for you to follow. So we were here loading our region. You can see here there is the orbit, camera, and the norm marker, some key here. So let's say this is going to be our area in here. So this is what I'm gonna load, and I'm just gonna right click and then select load region from selection. And that's it. Everything is in. You might see it like this because I'm on Lite, so I'm just gonna go into Lite, and then there is the scene with the HDRI. And let me just reduce the size of these keys because I think it's too big. Okay, now I think it's way better to move around with these keys. So the first thing you need to know is we got some pawns in here that we are going to possess when the game starts. So if I start the game right now, you'll see this is the end game menu I was mentioning before. So if I click on walkthrough mode, I already can move with the mouse. We just need to press, and I did it here like this because of the way the touch screen work. And I think it's way better to just when you stop, just click and drag to see around. Right click to zoom. As you might know, it's pretty much standard with the pawns. And then if I move to anywhere, I can just move freely with my mouse like it's a first-person shooter. So we can just move around, and I'm just possessing this main character. And I can switch mode to third person and then move around like I did. And if I double click somewhere, which has collisions, of course, then it's gonna move like that. But on touch, you just only need one touch to move it. Then change and then play around Q and E to go up and down or move, and this doesn't have any collision. This is just to show you how the pawn works now that we are looking at them individually. So the orbit mode is, like I mentioned, is like an aerial view of your scene. You can always double click and move it there, or you can, well, in this case it's just it doesn't move like any other, like the first person mode, because it would be a little bit messy to do it like that. So I prefer to use a double click to teleport. And then you can change the switch modes. So for example, the orthographic view, and then zoom in or zoom out with your scroll wheel. VR, we know, I don't have the headset with me at the moment, but just put it on. I use the Oculus MetaQuest 3, I think it's called, and they work really great. But if you ever need to use any other, I think HTC, I set the inputs for the HTC, but you need to, the Vive headset, but you need to look into the inputs and see if everything is working fine. So these are the 3 pawns in there. But what happened is, for example, I've got this in here, is this little sphere, this is the orbit. What happened if I don't have any pawn here? So nothing's up, it's more like nothing, it's not going to process anything, and it's going to give you an error as well. So you just need to make sure that the pawn is there. So I just add it back. And how you find them, I can show you quickly. It's in blueprints, game mode, actors, and then just drag them in. So for example, I'm just gonna delete the, oh, where are you? Probably it's easier to do it here. And then I just drag that in, reposition it, then probably do a sort of like a view like that, and then you control via your target arm length. So if I hit play and go into orbit, you see that's the last view we had on the camera. Same thing happened with the character. If I delete it, then just drag it in, turn it around, it's facing that way, and let's say start in here, then I move it that way, and this is going to be your begin play. So if I turn it that way, I'm gonna be facing that way because that's what I'm possessing as well. So same thing happened with the VR, but the VR pawn is gonna be on its own folder here, VR blueprints, and the VR pawn right there. And the reason I separate them is because VR has much more stuff than the other pawns. So although they share the same player controller, they are quite different in the ways they are set up. And speaking about player controller, we can see that world settings, we got the game mode to 3 and 3, it's this one, and then got the player controller, which is this one as well. And we can open it, and don't get scared, don't worry, you don't need to modify stuff in here. But just to let you know, this is the brain that we use for pretty much the whole game. And when I'm saying the whole game, is even the controller's graph, the touch graph, is all set up in the player controller. This is just to keep everything constant, and we can modify stuff. I do set up here the touch setting, for example, the sensitivity, we can change it in here, the thresholds as well. But if you want to modify a pawn, for example, the speed of the pawn is working, we can go into details. Probably look into movement. Go into movement, and let's see if I can find this quickly. So walk speed, for example, I can change it, let's say 600, and then this is gonna go super fast. It's like it's running. If I press the middle button, you can change between first and third person. So this is running, and then if I click, for example, 60, and then right click, and it's still running. Don't know why. Oh, I did it this was the wrong one. It was this one here, the character movement walking, and then I go way smaller, lower. Still, you can teleport quite quickly, but that's just to let you know that you can modify the stuff in here if you ever need to do it this way. So I'm just gonna get back to 100, I think, or 150. It's a good value. So let's save. And same thing happens with the orbit, for example. You can set the spring arm zoom speed. Maybe you don't need that much of a speed onto when you're zooming in, for example, I can set up to 200, and maybe I don't need to zoom that much, but I will leave it like this because it's you can have as many zoom as you like. But if, for example, if I click in here and then zoom speed is way slower than we had before. So, for example, go here and then it's really slow. But you can change these parameters to your liking and see what works best for you. Also, on the orbit, you can just pan with the right click, or two fingers in the touch screen. So that's something I forgot to also mention as well. So with the pawns a little bit explained and how you can modify it and stuff like you can do. And don't worry, again, we will go through each of them at some point. I'm going to show you a little bit of the helpers, of the data layer, of the UI helper as well that we use in the main menu, but also we have it in here just in case you don't want to show some of the buttons. And also, what's the logic behind all the product configurators that we use, for example, the lighting configurator and the product configurator. Also, the variant, it pretty much works the same, but the only difference is that we use the name of the variant or the set that we use. We're just gonna type that in, but I'm gonna show you that as well. And the variant is also on the Lite free version, so you can follow along too with this video. Okay, so to start with our little helpers here, these are tools that allow us to start quickly on our project. Some of them you might never need it, and I try to set them up in here on its own, let's say, folders. Oh, by the way, I forgot I added these two axes here, so I'm just gonna move them into axes, trying to keep everything organized. So got the blueprints here. Let me just hit escape, and in here you will see that all the helpers are here. If I just select one, there you go, the location trigger. Let's start with the level UI data that we already explored in the main menu. So I'm just gonna go press Ctrl B, here it is, and you can see it's set in the levels folder under the AT3 entry. So the first thing you will see is the HUD in-game only. Don't know if you noticed when we start a game, there is the HUD and where all the buttons are when we go into each pawn. So in the level name on the HUD, if I just click play, you will see here it is the project. You also have walk mode, which tells that I'm using a walk mode pawn. Is the one that we use for the main experience. Then if you go into orbit mode, it tells you that it's orbit mode. Same thing happens if you change to VR, it will say VR. So the first thing we're gonna look is set the name of the project. So let's say this is Quick Start Guide. And then if we hit play, you will see it's setting it there quite nicely. So if it's called villa or apartment or whatever building or stuff that you want to set the description to it, you can do it in there quite easy. So is compass visible? If I don't want any compass, it won't be visible in there as well. So speaking about the compass, the only thing you need to know is this is your north marker. It's on the axis. Again, if I go Ctrl B, this is where the north marker is, and I can, for example, delete this one and then move the marker there. And now when I play, it's going to point to that direction there where I set the north marker. That's the only thing you need to know really about the compass. So getting back to the level UI data, now you will see there are widgets for this level, which is in-game menu only. So we got the gallery, the cinema widget, technical area, and extra info. So let's say that you want to change these to something else, another widget. And when this happens, for example, this gallery here, it relates to this specific level, to this specific project. So I try to just do this for each each level you are in. So if I click on gallery, you will see there's the next page button, previous page, and you can add description if you like to do so. Same with the cinema. There's this nice sort of Hollywood countdown, and then you got the video playing as well. You can play, stop it, go back to the beginning, and then play again. Then go back. Technical area, like I mentioned, is where you can add more technical stuff and credits and some of the stuff that you want to add. So in case you want to, for example, do something else with this, go into here. You can add your own widget, and just make sure that it's a common UI widget. So for example, this here, it says common activatable widget. If I double click, it's here, the parent class. And you can change this by going into reparent blueprint, and you can set common activatable widgets. So if you want to transform any of your widgets into an activatable widget. So in here, for example, let's do a quick example here, and then I'm just going to duplicate this. Let's say gallery 1, and then change this to, I don't know, let's use, I don't have that many projects, many images in here, but I'm just gonna put them all together the same style. Right, now I set this to gallery 1, so this is the new one that I'm gonna use, and then if I go here, you see is the one we set. So it's that easy to just push the widgets to when we click that button. So that's can be quite handy, especially if you got many images or any other stuff that you want to add there. So I'm just gonna set that back, probably delete this, or I can do it later. Or force delete. It's all right. Right. The next step is buttons visibility, and you can control the visibility which buttons you want to have in your in-game menu. So, for example, let's say that you don't want VR, so I just set to collapse. We don't want orbit, so just collapse. Gallery, yes. Cinema, maybe not, so collapse. Extras, I collapse it as well. So when I hit play, I only have the ones I selected. So walkthrough mode, gallery, technical area, and the exit. The exit is we always need the exit to go back to the main menu. But that's how you can just filter out this button as well. Just gonna get back and put it there. So basically that's it. To be honest, it's quite straightforward to do it in this way, just to speed things up. And now I'm going to go into the widgets. I'm just going to click here, and then go into in-game. Then in-game menu, right here, and you will see the buttons that we use in here. So try to keep try to keep all the same functions. So if I go here, graph, you will see they do pretty much the possess. So it switches pawns, it hides the other pawns when you are selected. If you don't want to do this, you can just cut this out, and if you want to see the pawn when you are using other pawns, but I don't recommend it. Just use it as it is in there. And for the other widgets, interesting thing is that you can just directly push the widget that you need in here. So if you want to push any other widget, you can do it. You can select which one you want to push, and that is the logic we use for the BP, the level UI data or helper that we use. And you can see we're going to go into more details into these buttons because it's quite a lot of parameters And this is our base or master buttons for this type of button, for this. It's more like I would say more like a vertical type of button, although you can do it, of course, you can do squares if you prefer, and then set it in here. For example, if I go, let's change these to, I don't know, maybe just as an example, I'm just going to use this and change that. Then I should be doing here. You see, it's quite easy to just change the images to the background. And if, for example, you want to change the title, you can do it here. You can do the subtitle as well. The subtitles will be this one. The description, if you don't want any description, it just hide it as you do it there. So pretty much a lot of stuff that you can do in this, and we will go through each of these buttons because there are quite a lot to process, and I don't think this video will do that. This supposedly is a quick start video, so this is just to start you in the journey of using the template and where to explore things out. But don't worry, you can mess this around this, or maybe do a backup and then try it out and see how you get on.